Okay, so this is the second video of the day, only because it's important, people. You know, I got back a response from the government in regards to me putting on, I don't know. I paid $200 to book a trial date, people. That's what I did. Okay? Right? So this is their response to that trial date. Now, before I get into it, just want to say a couple of other things. Because what we're going to do is we're going to read it word for word so that I can begin to internalize it. Now, I kind of briefly read it, you know, trying to get to the gist of what they wanted to say. And obviously, none of it makes any sense to me outside of their being negligent and they're avoiding anything. Because it's easy for them to avoid it. Right? Okay? So we're going to just narrow it down. But before, and if you notice, it's much brighter in here because I'm going blind, people. Right? By design. I just happen to be one of those unlucky ones that have glaucoma. That's what my eye specialist said. Oh, you just happen to be one of those unlucky ones. I'm like, oh, okay. So anyway. How am I feeling right now that I've got this in my possession? First of all, knock, knock at the door. So instead of putting it in the mail this time, people, they actually had somebody deliver it to me. Right? You know, and he goes, oh, I'm like, yeah, okay. So now he's getting ready to leave. And he goes, is everything okay? Because it says, he goes, this is from Ministry of Justice, Legal Services Branch. Right? And I'm like, okay, yeah, well, yeah, why? Why are you asking? Oh, well, you know, is everything, you know, I'm like, what, you being nosy? Right? Because it came from the government? Like, what did he want me to say? And he goes, no, you know, just like a customer, yeah, everything okay in the house? No. And I'm like, yeah, well, why wouldn't it be? Right? Unless, of course, you're being nosy and you want to know why the province is sending me something from their legal branch. Right? Anyway. Right. But, of course, as soon as he said that, you know, it got my little feelies up, right? You know, your little hairs, right? My little feelies. Bing, right? Because we've been waiting, right, for a response. Remember, I'm a newbie on the block here, okay? I don't know, right? How long it takes or what they're going to do. Or I can't get a lawyer, people. I've asked in the last, I'd say maybe 3 months. 3 months, I've approached 2 different law firms. One was criminal, like in terms of criminal lawyer. Because I was told at one point in the past that I need a criminal lawyer, okay? So I approached a criminal lawyer, sent him an email, gave him a link to the, you know, to the notice of civil claim and blah, blah, blah. He never even emailed me back, people. Nothing. Didn't call me, didn't email me, nothing. And then, just about 2 weeks ago, I made another attempt to contact another law firm. At first, I went for another criminal lawyer, being that other criminal lawyer just didn't acknowledge me. Okay? And then I was advised by a criminal law firm, like a criminal lawyer law firm, that I was looking, instead of for a criminal lawyer, I should be looking for a civil lawyer. Now, I've already done this in the past, people, and got rejected. Now I'm getting rejected again. And then I got rejected again because they just phoned me up like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, saying that they can't help me, one, because it's against the government, and they don't have the staff. That's basically what they said. At first, it's no, if it has anything to do with the government, we can't help you. And I said, well, you know, are you even just willing to look at it? And, right, you know, and blah, 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 and, right? I mean, it was just a receptionist. So she says, sure, forward the information. So I forward the information. I guess the lawyer looked at it, or lawyers, because there's actually 3 within the law firm, for personal injury. Not against the government, but if it's a car accident, they'd be on it like a dirty fucking shirt, right? We know that. So anyway, you know, I didn't get my hopes up high, people. Right? Sure enough, she called me like a week ago, or whatever it was just recent, and said, no, can't help you, blah, blah, blah. We don't have the staff. Right? There's just not enough staff. That's what she said. Didn't say, oh, can't help you because it's against the government. She just said we didn't have enough staff in order to take it on. Well, what can I say, people? What can I say? In the government, they know this. They know this, people. This is why they do what they do. And this is why I do what I do, right? To put it out there that the government discriminates against vulnerable families. If they're not sucking the life money out of them in terms of, you know, maybe they're a well-to-do family that was targeted and they're slowly but surely being chipped away at with, you know, because they can afford lawyers, so they have to pay lawyers to fight for them, right? Blah, 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 and they get bankrupt that way. It's a hit and miss. Or whether it's people like me that need lawyers, but we can't afford them, and the government knows it. So therefore, it's not even a hit and miss. It's a slam dunk for the government to do what the government wants to do to families such as mine, without ever being held to account. Okay? This came in Maximum Express. Right? Okay. This is their response. So, when I realized what he was handing over to me, how did I feel? Well, my feelings went up, and I started to, you know, quiver. I didn't shake. I just started to quiver with my little feelies going. Because I know what I'm up against. Okay? And the first thing that my mind tells me is don't be afraid of the devil. That's the first thing my mind tells me. Don't be afraid to stand up to the devil and its servants. So I'm not afraid, people. Okay? I'm not afraid. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to my neighbor the other day saying that I think I'm going to start working on another lawsuit in regards to Ciera and what happened to Ciera, right? So that my government can't worm out of what they're trying to worm out of right now. And with their response just tells me that I really should do that. Because I really don't know what they're going to do to me next in terms of what they say here. From what I can understand, I mean, obviously, I do understand that they're taking absolutely no responsibility for anything. And they already think that they've won the trial before it even gotten to trial, just like last time with Uncle John. So maybe they're doing a backroom deal without me being in the courthouse at this point and, you know, kind of doing like they did with that waiver of fees. Right? Just leave everything fucking hanging until it just kind of fades off to the wayside. So that professors in some university can come back and examine how good they did at serving the public when it comes to poor people having their fees waived, to which they didn't do that with me, people. They sent me to the crooked cops. That's what they did. And then they used that opportunity to close the file on their terms. Not on my terms, not on my dead daughter's terms, not on my family's terms, not on anybody's terms except on their terms. To which the government should be investigating. And they don't want to. So, just to keep this short even though it's going to be probably a little long because there's 3 pages here, 4 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 pages to read. I'm going to read word for word so that, you know, through my fog of going blind and being under high stress, right? I can start internalizing what my government is doing to me so that the next time they approach me on any capacity, I'm somewhat prepared to stand my ground and not be afraid of the devil, basically. Okay? And in light of everybody dropping off like flies in a 1-block radius, I don't think I have too much to lose in terms of fighting that good fight. Justice. Oh, speaking of that, knowing what I know now in terms of bodies not even 200 feet away from me being hauled out of houses in blankets with the coroner on site, knowing what I know, with Debbie dead in her bed, with that guy over there with his chest cut open, laying on a hospital bed, waiting for the doctors to decide what they're going to do with him, and he dies anyway when they make the second attempt the next day to, I don't know what they were thinking, but the point is the guy died on the hospital bed with his chest wide open. How convenient that was. You can sacrifice a heart if you can capitalize and make $500,000 on the rest of the body. It's nothing. Okay. They kept him going to keep those organs going. So there was no incentive to give him duty of care to help him with his heart, unless, of course, he could pay for it. And unfortunately, he couldn't pay for that service. So he didn't get that high level of duty of care, in my opinion. All right. So therefore, I'm not afraid. Okay? May 31st. So they decided to write this out yesterday and deliver it to me today. Dear Judy Chorney. Why don't they just put 2? Okay? I'm not a dear to them. Regards, Judy Lynn Chorney versus Her Majesty the Queen in right of the province of British Columbia, as represented by the Ministry of Attorney General and the Ministry of Public Safety and Solicitor General, Supreme Court of British Columbia, number 226898, New Westminster Registry. So what happened to the Queen's right of Her Majesty the province? The province. Didn't they change the title now? Do you see? Wasn't I told that I had to put the province? They're not even addressing themselves as the province. And you have to remember, all these lawyers are laughing at me. Okay? I got 3 of them laughing right now. Sharing their bottle of Bacardi. Sitting high on the horse, obviously. Laughing. Calling themselves lawyers. For justice. For civil justice. But yet they turn their back on the most vulnerable in this province. Just reminding you. Attached is the Crown's list of documents. Document disclosure under Rule 711. The Rule 711, it's getting dark, of the Supreme Court Civil Rules, you may find a copy of these rules online, imposed on the parties of record an obligation to prepare a list of documents that list all documents that are or have been in the party's possession or control and that could. Now, unlike the government, I don't have $1 billion to hire as many people as I want to protect my dirty deeds. I have myself to fight for my own family, and that's all. I don't have my government does not fight for my family. Do not be deceived. My government does not represent my family. Do not be deceived. But they draw on families such as mine to gain those tax dollars so that they can protect themselves, basically, and whatever it is that they want to do. If available, be used by any party of record at trial to prove or disprove a material fact. Well, first of all, my document list isn't nearly completed, okay? I only put those two in with Auntie Joan and Uncle John just to let them know that there are lists formulating. ShaMay did a couple more. I just didn't submit them yet at this point. They can't say that Uncle John's lawsuit isn't valid within the one that I filed with ShaMay because it's listed there and it hasn't been dealt with. The rule also requires that the listing party to list all other documents to which the party intends to refer at trial. Well, trial isn't until September 19th, 2022. So in light of, my responsibilities, right? There's only so much I can do in a day, right? It can take all day just to have Amari go to the toilet, okay? Right? Not to mention feeding him every day by hand and cooking for him and doing laundry and dishes and just everything else that I do in a day, right? Of course, the government doesn't care about that because, they don't represent families, right? That's not their job description. They're not there to help families cope with medical injuries, medical kidnappings, illegal organ harvesting. That's not what the government is there for, okay? No material facts pleaded in your notice of civil claim. They got that in big, dark, bold letters. Material facts are those that, when resolved, will have legal consequences. Well, how would they know? Have they pulled up ShaMay's medical files? Have they gone to that clinic and got ShaMay's medical files? Or Ciera's medical files? Or Uncle John's medical files? The government has done absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. But yet will get up on YouTube and boast about how they're trying to protect the public. Okay? Material facts are those that read that. Between the parties to the dispute. Well, first of all, we haven't even gone into trial yet to see what those material facts are and to debate them. Okay? Right? And then they give me some link to some court case with their case law. See, they're going to try and throw it out with their case law. Right? Versus actually doing an investigation to which that notice of civil claim is requesting. Okay? That those which are essential in order to formulate a complete cause of action. The government doesn't want to acknowledge that murder by fentanyl is happening in the province of British Columbia, Canada, for the purpose to illegally harvest organs so that they can prop up the money laundering schemes that go on into this province, without brakes on it. They want it to proliferate and flourish, okay, because it's big money, right? So why would they want to investigate, right? They're not coming in with, they don't have any facts in here listed. They took Auntie Joan and Uncle John's facts and basically flushed them down the toilet, okay? Or a defense DeFerny and Friends Cartoon Production Limited. Well, yeah, because they think it's a joke, right? They treat it like it's a cartoon, right? Uncle John was a cartoon, Auntie Joan, and my whole family was a cartoon, right? versus radical entertainment. Yes, entertainment for them. Like I told you, those 3 lawyers are just sitting there drinking their Bacardi, laughing. 2005, and then they got a court number here. So it's almost like they've gone to court and have already been in front of a judge, bringing in their case law, getting it thrown out of court before it even goes to trial without me being there. This is how it feels, people. Okay, if I was to say what's going on this one page, right? This brings me back with Andrew standing next to me, handing over to the judge, big fucking chick like this, as I'm being told I am only allowed to write 3 pages, and even then the judge wants to ignore my 3 pages, but wants to acknowledge everything and anything that Andrew the Dragon was presenting to him. And then, versus denying me the right to have access to a 3-panel judge under an appeal system, the judge just sent me to the cops and left it hanging. Knowing that people like me that are uneducated in this field called law, which is clearly corrupt and lopsided with no justice for the public, right? It's a game for them. That's why they brought in that case law, right? It's subliminal messaging. It's like a slap in the face. Ha, it's entertainment for us. Go away, little girl. And then they provide the link again as if I'm going to go read their entertainment. Given that your notice of civil claim discloses no cause of action against the Crown, because they completely ignore illegal organ harvesting or the allegations of illegal organ harvesting or medical kidnapping or anything that I listed within the within that notice of civil claim, right? That's basically no cause. No cause. They are saying that there is no such thing as illegal organ harvesting happening in the province of British Columbia, Canada. And if there is, they don't care. They don't want to go look for it. They don't want to snuff it out, right? As a matter of fact, they would prefer it to continue. The facts alleged in your claim are immaterial. ShaMay's dead body on change.org petition is an immaterial fact. Just like that dude over there with his body being carried out in a blanket is an immaterial fact. As they would not result in any legal consequences between you and the Crown if they were to be resolved by the court. So they have become, I'm hearing it like, they have become the judge, the jury, the prosecutor, and the jailer. They have already taken it to court in their office, people. Since the disclosure rule only requires the parties to produce documents in relation to material facts, Uncle John's documents are material facts. So is Auntie Joan's documents are material facts. And your claim contains no such facts. How can they know that? They haven't taken it to trial yet, people. They've already deemed me guilty. Or what? Frivolous, scandalous, a waste of the court's time. Right? But yet, they're the ones with all the money. Right? As they save on their budget, putting dead bodies into blankets and then throwing them into body dude bag vehicles at a discount rate to save taxpayers money. To make it look like they represent the taxpayers. The obligation under Rule 711 does not arise. No documents intended to be referred to at trial by the Crown at this time. Well, I gotta take a break on that one. At this time, people, at this time. Bingo! They're not off the hook yet. Now I got those little feelers up for joy. For joy, people. I feel like crying from joy now. Illegal organ harvesting is not a game. But we're not out of the woods yet. We're dealing with masters of deception that have billions of dollars to fool the public. In addition, at this time, the Crown does not intend to refer to any documents at trial, given that the claim as it stands would not likely proceed to trial. So this is just a generic letter that they didn't necessarily want to write, and they're trying to figure out how they can draw on another billion fucking dollars to fuck me over again. Oh, I gotta take a break, people. So I am planting beans today. And I bought, I like to support my local little Korean grocery store. And what I noticed yesterday, honest to God, he sells flowers now in a bouquet, people. Because I've been buying his little planter pot things. This is just the new phase he started, and he's finding out that lots of people are buying his flowers and stuff. So I noticed that he's just introduced, flowers in a bouquet, like roses and that kind of thing. After what I heard about that fucking, whoever that individual was that was taken out in a fucking blanket, mistreated like a piece of meat, okay? Knowing what I know, all right? I'm telling you, I'm going to go buy myself 3 bouquets of flowers. I don't care what it costs. I'm a big spender in that store. And I'm going to tell him I'm going to tell that man, the owner, what I'm buying it for. And I'm going to drop 1 bouquet off to each house. That's 3 houses, not even fucking 200 feet away from me, from death, okay, that have occurred in the last 4 months based on the duty of care within the province of British Columbia, Canada. Okay, so what are they saying? That I'm being theatrical because I'm a YouTuber and I happen to put the facts out there, people. And not only do I happen to put the facts out there, but I also come in with facts, okay? And I show you visually that, it's not all just talk, okay? Right? Whether we stumble upon it and we hear it through the grapevine, or whether we can actually see it for ourselves, okay? On slow motion, if need be. It's there, all right? That's the first thing to remember, okay? All right? I got better things in my life at 60 years old than to be battling the devil. But I guess, when it comes to my generation, you either stand for something or you fall for anything, right? And I don't want to be one of those ones that will just fall for nothing and nobody's putting no flowers out in front of my fucking house, okay? I'm going to go buy myself 3 bouquets of flowers, and I'm putting a bouquet on each freaking house and walk away. In terms of a blessing, God bless that house. God bless the person who died from that house. Your death didn't go in vain. Just remember that, okay? In terms of, don't underestimate these people who are dying. They're dying for a reason. Many of them are being lost along the way because of that failed duty of care. Hold on a minute. Okay. So yeah, I've decided to do that. Now we're going to go on to the next page. And this is a copy of their document list, which has nothing in it. Okay? You can see. Right? It says document list. Okay? It doesn't have a form number on it, but in the Supreme Court of British Columbia, Judy Lynn Chorney, Her Majesty, okay, the Queen in right of the province of British Columbia, as represented by the Ministry of Attorney General and Ministry of Public Safety and Solicitor. What happened to the province? I thought they have to refer themselves as the province. Anyway, their document list holds nothing. Part 1, documents that are or have been in the listing party's possessions. The government has refused to let me have my daughter's medical files from the clinic by using a doctor to do it, who basically put me out into no man's land where the duty of care is nil, basically in the province of British Columbia, Canada. Are you listening to what I'm saying here, people? Just like with Ciera with the duty of care. They released her from jail and 4 days later she was dead, with the cops protecting a dead body, supposedly, from her own mother. And refused to let me see my dead daughter's body for 19 days. And only after it had been pillaged. Because they were doing an investigation. I'd like to know what cops were standing there witnessing that when that happened. Because through the government's legislation, it's written that the cops should have been witnessing it, did they? No, they didn't. They were too busy trying to scare off the family. Could you see me in court? Oh my God. That's why they bring in their little entertainment case law. As they're sitting in their popcorn gallery, drinking their Bacardi, laughing among themselves as lawyers. Waiting for the next big ticket item with the next fake car crash. Fake car crash. Prepared by Her Majesty the Queen in right of the province. The Queen didn't prepare nothing. Okay? She's just allowing other people to use her name. That's it. As represented by the Ministry of Attorney General. What kind of Attorney General do we really have? And the Ministry of Public Safety. Sure, safety my ass. And Solicitor General. Ha ha ha. Clap, clap, clap. Are we enjoying the entertainment now, people? How many just like popcorn and how many just like to drink Bacardi? How many like to mix the two? Throw in a little bit of fucking fentanyl and everybody's having a good time. Documents that are or have been in the listing party's possession or control and that could be used by any party at trial to prove or disprove a material fact. And they've got nothing listed. Absolutely nothing. Because they're not interested in finding out the truth, people. They're more interested in taking billions of dollars to bury it. Part 2, same situation, nothing. Part 3, same situation, nothing. Part 4, same situation, nothing. They added nothing. 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 Because that's about it. They're about nothing. They're false representatives to the public. Okay? Nothing. Here we got it dated. You see? Just covered up their little signature. Take notice that the document listed in part 1, 2, or 3 of this list of documents, well, no, we've got the doctor protecting the evidence. As the government is protecting the union. As the people are being evicted from their houses if they're not dying in them. As the local population is being replaced by decaying immigrant population that wants to live in a bubble move in and replace those that just disappear into the abyss. Or control may be inspected and copied during normal business hours. Just copy and paste. Implied undertaking to the court. Documents produced are not to be used by the other parties except for the purpose of this litigation unless and until the scope of the undertaking is varied by a court order. Well, first of all, they don't even want to look at documents, and they sure in the hell don't want to bring up documents because they know they're cornered, people. But because they're running with the devil ensures that they're, continue on as business as usual, right? And that's why I'm going to put down those flowers on those 3 separate locations when it comes to houses where people have recently died, and show justice, even if it's just in a small little kind of way, in terms of they're not forgotten. And that there is a voice out there that is fighting for them. Okay? And maybe if enough people start doing that, enough people will actually start getting some more courage, and, will stand up against whatever it is that even allows illegal organ harvesting to even happen in the first place. People need to stop putting their head in the sand and convincing themselves that it's only in China that they do it, or places like the United Emirate, or, where, the laws are kind of like lax and nobody really cares because it's easy just to turn a blind eye, even if the body is being carried out in a freaking blanket, with the coroner standing there saying, "C'est la vie, ching ching, ching ching." Or is it beep beep, beep beep? Which one is it? Ha! Let's drink more Bacardi, eat more popcorn. It's just entertainment, people. Right? This list of documents is prepared by, and then they give the lawyer's name, which was absolutely nothing. Right? Somebody that's making $120,000 a year that does absolutely nothing, basically, except copy and paste at her fucking desk. Right? For the Ministry of Attorney General, whose place of business and address is in the actual government building itself. So, there you go. The only one good thing that I got out of it, people, because I actually took the time to read it, versus just, oh my God, what's happening? How am I going down? How am I going down? How am I going to die? Right? How am I going down, people? Like, right? Because I know that it's hard to, fight for justice, right? I'm going to go down one way or another. So I want to know how they're going to bring me down, right? In terms of, at least in this venue. So the only good thing was no documents intended to be referred to at trial by the Crown at this time. So now it's a waiting game until they call me into court to try and get it thrown out through their entertainment case law. They're going to make the judge join the party with that Bacardi, basically. But you see, the thing is, he doesn't need to join because he's already part of that party, people. Seen that with Uncle John. I seen it with 3 separate judges. And I'm going to leave it on this note. And it's nothing against my race, but you know what? When I was fighting in court for Amari, and I was trying to get Paul, the lawyer, to help me with this situation with ShaMay, and I told him what was going on, and I told him about the corruption, and you know what he asked me? He said, well, were they old white guys? And I said, yeah. That's what I'm up against. A bunch of old white guys, people sitting on a horse in a freaking federal building that's paid for by taxes, laughing, drinking Bacardi, eating popcorn on the side, just watching the carnage all around them, and thinking that I guess they're going to never die. I guess those guys are never going to die. And when they do, I guess they figure because they were dubbed by a bunch of crooks and demon worshippers that somehow that they were important and that they will always be held up in esteem and therefore never need nobody to fight for them and their justice when their time comes. Because, you know, it's in the cat in the bag for them, right? They're never nothing. I mean, they're right? What are these judges thinking? That they can never be an Uncle John? Because they sure in hell act like they could never be an Uncle John. And because of that, they are failing hundreds of thousands, millions of Uncle Johns.